Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens out there in Nelson County Schools land. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness. How exciting. If you have lost track of the days, today is Friday. Um, and I'm so excited to kick off our spring break week with the Community Brew Live. And I'm just going to toss the mic right over to Chase. Oh, hang on. Before I do, over in the live chat, make sure you contribute and say hello and good morning and share the link with all your friends. And also, just a little FYI, if we happen to lose connection during the live stream, hop back over to the channel. We'll do a new link and we'll be right back over there. Just a little FYI, we've been having some glitches, so just a little warning right out of the gate. So happy Friday, Chase Golf, it's all you.
Thanks, Brooke. I have my 7-year-old here. He's been watching the Community Brew on the YouTube Live, and he really wanted to know if he could talk on it this morning. So I figured, we're talking about school being different and being part of the backpack leaders and that class and what some of that work is. So, Maddox, what's been some of your favorite things you've done since NTI started?
My Google Meet with my teacher.
Your Google Meet with your teacher. So you did that yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. So what did you guys do during your Google Meet?
We read about Yellowstone National Park.
So you did reading with your teacher in Google Meet. Was it just you? Was it just you with Miss Miles?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. What have you been reading since the break started? Since NTI started?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. That's one of my favorites. I think everybody else is saying that too. They seem to like it as well. That's cool. Well, anything else you want to say? No? Well, thank you for hanging out this morning for a little bit. All right. Bye, buddy. He's got his, we got to show him your buttons. See, you got buttons on this morning. He's got his Foster Heights, OKH, Cox's Creek, and IRNC. So he says it's a squad this morning. All right, buddy. You have a good one, okay?
And this is my favorite.
That's your favorite? Which one is that? Your Foster Heights one?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Y'all go play. All right. So let's get started this morning. So I want to take a little bit of time with you guys to be able to share about the gift project work that you all began with your classes. I know everybody's kind of in some different spots. The NTI world has kind of thrown a kink in some of that, but I did want to be able to share a little bit about what your work is and what's your partnership look like. So you guys out there, we begin this work. Hold on a second. My boys are talking. I can't. All right. So we begin this work by talking about the really exploring our community and the externship process and allowing kids to be a part of that. And then we created a community partnership and we began building these projects that we want our schools to begin next school year. And so I'm going to shut up for just a second. I want each of you guys to take just a little bit of time to talk about that partnership and what those projects are starting to look like.
All right. Well, my name is Finn Burton. I'm the backpack leader at Nelson County High School. And we have partnered with the city of Bardstown, and the students in my class are doing a great job. They're working extensively with the city of Bardstown, the police department. They're trying to create an obstacle course for the police department so they can do their training. The other one they're doing is working on the waterworks, working with water within the community, trying to help design something to help people be informed of the how to take care and maintain water in case something were to happen, where we would have a water crisis. And then finally, the last thing that our last project is, we're helping create a walkway within the city of Bardstown. So I think one thing that my students have really started to grasp is like how connected like really things are. So they focus specifically on this thing, but they didn't realize how many moving pieces are involved in the whole process as well.
I may just need to start calling. There you go, Chris.
Okay, I'll go. So I'm Christy Lynch. I'm the backpack leader at OKH, and we are partnering with Orbis. And Orbis makes a lot of like plastic type materials for our community and everywhere. And so what we're doing with Orbis is we are designing, redesigning, and reimagining their warehouse layout, their cell efficiency, and how can they recruit good quality people who are going to stay here. And we have a story where we are welcome home, and everything is connected to home. And so we have a house system, and we have honorary members of Orbis's. All of their managers are now in our houses, and so we are kind of incorporating them into our story as well.
Sweet. Amy, you want to talk a little bit?
Sure. So I'm Amy Kendiff, Bloomfield Elementary. Our partner is Boston Training Center. And after several meetings with Mike Embry from Boston Training Center and then visits there, our students started getting really excited. And so they have come up with ideas just to help our student body and our families learn about Boston Training Center. And after several discussions with the kids and with adults and teachers at our school, we found out that nobody knew about it. And so we decided that a marketing idea would be what we would like to do with them. And so this past semester that's turned into I don't know what, our second graders had a hot cocoa cart business and really worked on marketing and advertising and how important it is to get your idea out there to the public. And so we're really going to have them as third graders really help on the marketing and then, kind of develop it further with the older kids. But also, the students decided that we needed to get to know the equipment, learn about it, help the younger kids understand what the equipment is, et cetera, et cetera. So they are super excited, and they've come up with so many ideas that we teachers would never think of. So it's very exciting.
Sweet. Yeah, the Boston Training Center is one of those places that if you don't know about it, it's a really, really cool spot for our community to have. Cheryl?
Hey, so I'm Cheryl. I'm at Foster Heights Elementary, and our community partner is the Bardstown Archives and Historical Preservation. So our kiddos went and saw the Bardstown Archives during one of their externships, and they left that experience just over the moon excited about history and the community that we have here at Bardstown and how it's been preserved so far. And how to preserve that. So we've been really working with our community partner on designing a museum for Foster Heights. They want to be able to leave a legacy every year and kind of share our Foster Heights story through a museum. So they're working on that. And then they would like to eventually one day work on a Bardstown History Museum, because that's one thing that our community partner mentioned that she wanted to help build one day. It's obviously very early in the stages, but that's something that they're looking forward to one day.
Awesome. Amanda?
Hello, I'm Amanda Hoskins. I'm from New Haven School, and our school story is Leading with Heart, and our community partner is the Bread for Life Food Pantry, and it just really ties in with our school story. So some of our projects to help the Bread for Life Food Pantry and to also help our community in New Haven. We will be building our students will be building a garden and a chicken coop, because those are some items that they need at the food pantry, as well as helping our families in New Haven. We will also, a lot of people don't know about the Bread for Life Food Pantry. So we also will be helping with some advertising, trying to get some different grants and scholarships for them. Our students are going to be working on that. And then another project that our students came up with was really creating workshops for families in need. So giving them those soft skills that they might need, maybe some interviewing skills, how to write a resume, those type of workshops. So they want to create those workshops and host them for our community. And the last project that they will work on is, or they've been working on, is creating a food pantry box for our school, but also keeping stock and creating like a food drive at our school so that we can keep stock for our families in need.
I mean, I gotta give Amanda some props there. Like, my kids were here for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, you guys got to go play for a little bit. I mean, she's got them fed, they're quiet, and she's able to talk. I mean, that's some major props.
I was literally about to say I have a whole back channel conversation going on about your rock starness. I mean, and we're like, oh my gosh, she has 2 little tiny children. Like, we need to stop complaining about about our semi self sufficient children. Yeah, I echo that.
Today I have Spider-Man.
Kelsey?
Perfect timing. I was buying time until one of my kiddos popped on. So I'm Kelsey Berryman. I'm the backpack leader at Cox's Creek Elementary. We partnered with Flagey, and let's just take a moment to shout out to Flagey for all they're doing during this time and how hard they're working. They've been very supportive of us, and even through this crisis, they've still wanted to connect, which is amazing. Our students have created 3 projects, all based around patient care. The first team, they've titled themselves the Brave the Day team because that's their goal, is to help kids brave the day, and they're going to reimagine what the waiting room of the ER looks like for kids. We have another team that's all about patient personalization. So, how do you make those rooms a little more homey and less sterile? And how can we switch that up for each of the long term patients? And then the third team is called the Scaredy Bear team. If you don't know, Flagey has volunteers that hand makes teddy bears and gives it out to every child that goes into the ER. Some of our staff, their kids have 3 or 4 Scaredy Bears. But our school really wanted to own that and have a part in it, and then also offer those to kids who are newly enrolling to Cox's Creek and offer them a Scaredy Bear as well. On our call, we have Trinity, who is a 4th grade backpack leader. Miss Trinity, do you want to hop on for a second and share your Scaredy Bear project? Just a little bit about it.
Sure. So hi. And project is, well, it's going to be very interesting because our school hasn't done something like this before, and our project is making kids feel welcome and wanted in new places, and they will help the kids going somewhere new, like the ER and school, and it will help them feel like they belong. And the Scaredy Bears will go through everything that they're going through. So, say the kid is going to the ER and he or she is getting a shot. The bear will also get a shot too. And that is kind of how our project is.
That's awesome, Trinity. So I think, like, um, it's interesting when we started these projects. Miss Arnold and I we had some ideas of what they could look like, and we put together some examples of those things. But I think ever in our wildest dreams, we were able to really think about all of the different types of experiences that kids could have through these projects. And I think that's an example of really creating this level of empathy, and we talk about caretaking, like kids doing that sort of work. It creates a lot of things that we were never able to, I wasn't able to think about. I think that's the power of bringing kids to the table, and really having beginner's mind with a lot of this work. because I think they're able to see things that we otherwise may not be able to see. So that's awesome to hear. I think we have maybe Nick and Alex are the last two to go. So, um, Nick, you want to hop on?
All right, yeah, Nick Patterson from Bloomfield Middle School. Our story is about being BMS Strong, and our partner is Froggy's, the restaurant that is in the process of opening up, and the students are excited about their planned date of March 17th, which has obviously been pushed back now for opening up. But we've had some focuses on how can we make them stronger and how can we make them a successful business in Bloomfield through customer service and just a top quality dining experience and promoting different events in the community. Really, right now, as we've been in this NTI part, we've really focused on how can we now take something that has been delayed a couple times, and now once they are allowed to open up, how can we really launch them into community and really take the excitement and the desire that people have to go out and to join back with people and do that around food and things like that, and how can they really capitalize on that opportunity that they'll have whenever that might be.
Yeah, also I'm excited to see that come to life. It's kind of you guys are unique in that it's really from the ground up. Like you're starting with, they're not even open yet. So I think it's going to be really cool to see how that partnership develops. Alex, finish this up here.
Hey, Alex Martin, Thomas Nelson. We have aligned our gift project work with our engineering collab that we're going to be hosting in the 2020-21 school year. And so really just trying to, instead of having two separate things, align that work. And we have identified several community partners, but locally we're working with music construction. And really our goal has been just trying to support building that curriculum because that's an entirely new process, an entirely new project for those teachers. So we've been collaborating among the teachers that are going to be part of that group. And then also our community partner work has really been centered on what are some problems within the community that these students can engage with to make that work more authentic. We recognize there are several engineering type projects that we could Google, and those are quality work, but making it more authentic and making it aligned to our community has really been our focus with our community partners.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about the community collab. I think it's going to be a great experience for our high school kids, and really thinking like, what does it look like to not just have a class of engineering, but really their day is structured around those ideas and those themes. So excited to see that work come to life, and your kids play a huge role in that. So before I jump into some more questions, Brooke, do you want to hop in with anything from the chat?
Sure. So we've got lots of shout outs happening for you guys out here in the comments this morning. Let's see here. Amanda Noakes in New Haven. Amanda gave you a shout out. Farm Fresh Eggs in New Haven, feeding our community. Amanda and the Blue Crew are awesome. We've got, let's see, Kathy Oler from OKH. She said she loves how Nelson County Schools has introduced our students to job and career opportunities right here at home. Renee Hedges, our sweet Renee, she said, my husband is watching with me and is so impressed with the different opportunities that our kids are being given here in Nelson County. So shout out to Renee's husband for watching. Yay. We're glad you're here. Laura Arnold is in. She gave a shout out to Jennifer Nolan. And Flage just being an incredible community partner. And I couldn't agree with that more. Definitely shout out to Jennifer and her partnership with the Nelson County Foundation and Imagination Library. Let's see. Trinity, you're still in here? Let's see. I don't know if you remember Miss Mariah. She comes and takes pictures all the time at Cox's Creek. She said she is a huge Trinity fan. What a star! So I had to give you that little shout out there. Let's see here. Lots of good stuff happening over. Oh, Randy Adams did make a comment about BES partnering with BMS and letting students explore like teaching opportunities too. So that was really cool comment and project that is underway. So thank you guys for contributing. I did have a question over here in the comments about from Mr. Steve Stone wanting to know about how to stay alerted to our Community Brew lives and conversations. So hit the subscribe button and you'll get an email that tells you when we're live. So back to you, Chase.
Awesome. Well, let's transition just a little bit. We have about 10 minutes left, and I do want to dive in a little bit to the reading from yesterday. And so the author of that reading is one of my heroes. He really thinks a lot about like the implications of this type of learning and equity in schools. And really the idea that whatever we do, we have to ensure that it creates I hate to use the word level playing field, but it creates opportunities for every kid to be able to experience this. And I think that's the power of the work you guys are doing is that the backpack leaders, the backpack class, the community centered course, those students are leading it, but it's really for it's for more than just that class. Like ideally, I think in some of your all schools, you're thinking about how everybody in the school is engaged in that project in some way. So as we think about this idea of community-centered learning and really the focus being that every kid needs opportunities to do this type of work. What are some themes or comments or thoughts that you've had around how that's coming to life for you guys in this?
I'll go. Um, One thing in the article that really struck me was how they were talking about collaboration time in the schedule is so important for teachers. And we talk about how we see these projects come into life and really blossoming with the kids having time to collaborate. But when teachers actually have time to collaborate during the school day with the students and other teachers, it really gives you so many other opportunities. And so I'm so fortunate to have a couple of my hours of the day. I get to work with Ms. Kidwell in the STEM lab, and the two of us together with a group of kids, just ideas are flowing all over the place. So collaboration time within the schedule is so important.
I'll piggyback off that, Amy, because that's one thing that we at Foster Heights really tried to do right before this whole MTI thing was, we have teachers who work together with their individual students in their classrooms, and then they come together as teachers in PLCs, but the co-teaching aspect is not always there, being able to collaborate with a group of kids. So that's something that we were really trying to work on, especially with this backpack class, is how do we get more teachers in there and working with our kiddos so that, they're exposed to a lot more things than just the knowledge of one teacher.
I absolutely agree. Trinity and I were talking yesterday about some of the things that that we have going on in our schools and in our classrooms, and we kind of posed the question like, is this really preparing our students for the real world, for what they're going to see when they leave our schools? And I think that collaboration is really important. Trinity, do you want to add to that, like some of the things that you think that could help make our learning and our classrooms more real world centered?
I am going to say the things that I said to you yesterday. So the question was, what needs to change in the schools to prepare students for the real world? So I think it should be social skills, um, good relationships with people, because students need to learn to talk to people and to know how to socialize with people.
Absolutely. I agree, Trinity. Um, one of the things that he wrote about, and I think this is really true for us, and continue to think about, especially as we look towards next year and think about schedules and think about what it looks like to give kids opportunities. Is this whole equity and access. Like sometimes it's like this type of learning where kids are really being able to be creative and thoughtful and think outside the box and build things and do things. It's like sometimes that's only for a certain group of kids. And I think what we've saw over the course of this year is that really all kids can flourish in that type of learning environment. But the key is how do you give them access to doing that so that it's not just the backpack leader class or it's not just this class that gets to do those type of things. I think that's really the key for us as we think about this work moving forward. So, few minutes left here. I do want to take a little bit of time to think about the podcast. I know Cheryl was really digging that podcast yesterday. I saw a couple tweets. Dr. Tony Wagner is he's definitely a innovative and creative thinker when it comes to school. And Greg Goins, who hosts the Reimagine Schools, I think that's the name of it, Reimagine Schools podcast. He is he's a friend of mine, and he's been really, I think, instrumental in thinking about the work of schools and how do we expand the work of schools across not just our state. He works in Georgetown College, but really across the country. So, for the last few minutes here, what were some takeaways from the podcast that you guys listened to yesterday? Maybe some things that you're thinking about as we think about our work moving forward.
I think my biggest takeaway from that was at the very beginning of it, he said something about how the system is set up to support bad teaching, and it's not the fault of the teachers because a lot of people are they want to do the right thing, and the right thing traditionally has been to raise test scores and to prepare our kids for that type of environment, but things are changing, and we know that, and I think it's going to take a lot of work, but just the fact that, he said out loud, like, the system is set up to support bad teaching, and it's completely true. And once we realize that it's okay to make a ruckus and rebel against that for what we know is best for our kids, I think we're going to see some great things.
I agree with that, Cheryl. I just loved hearing that out loud, as you say. And then there's so many things that were good about the podcast, but I really honed in on the 7 survival skills. And for me, the one that was the most important was curiosity, and for students, but also for teachers. We sort of get in a groove and kind of forget to get excited about things, and so when we get excited about it, that transfers to the students. So for me, curiosity is the key for all of us.
I think for me, when I think about that, it just reinforces that idea of um, relationships. We talk about not transforming school, but reimagining school. I mean, that requires you to really understand those students and really have a relationship with those students. It's not a cookie cutter type of education that we just put people in certain places, but being able to really know them and really understand their passions. It talked about intrinsic motivations. When you talk about their passions and their desires, really get them going and be able to really highlight those and really put them in situations to succeed in those situations. I think that it really requires that relationship to really know those students and to really know where to, and how to push them to be successful and to be the best.
I think the podcast and the reading were kind of married in the fact that with our kids, like our backpack classes were really diverse, and like trauma filled kids and diverse kids are kind of my passion. And being able to go to the externships and to see the partners and to hear all those things that we tell the kids, but they're hearing it from someone else, that you have to be able to collaborate and that you have to be creative and you have to be able to work together. I think that solidified in our kids a lot of the things that we say. And I think that makes a huge difference with our kiddos. Just being able to experience that.
I think going back to kind of what Cheryl said about, the schools being built for, bad teaching. And I don't know if it was the article or the podcast, but there was something about schools are set up for listening. They're not working spaces. And I thought that was a really powerful way of putting it, because it's like the teacher's in control, the teacher's delivering the content, and the student voice isn't always a part of that. And I think that is such an important skill for our students to have, even in the younger grades, is learning how to share ideas and learning how to give their own opinion and being able to connect it to what they're doing in the real world. Trinity, you and I were talking about writing yesterday. You want to share a little bit about what you said about what writing looks like or what you want writing to look like in your classroom? I think you're still muted, Miss Trinity. Can you unmute for us, then? Um, so what I said yesterday was, say you're in writing and we have to do an opinion piece. It's just about what we think. It's not about what the world thinks. It's not about what another person thinks. It's just what we think. And then whenever we write it, only a couple people get to hear what we say, and not the entire world gets to hear what we say. And I think everybody should hear what we think and what we have to say about our opinion on something. Yes, Trinity. Yes, preach it, girl.
I think that's a good comment to end on. I have no doubt that she is a ruckus maker, and that's absolutely a powerful statement to end with. I do think the whole world needs to hear what you guys say. I think a lot of times in education, we take the student out of the equation sometimes, and really you should be at the center of it, not on the periphery. So thank you, Trinity, for adding to that. Brooke, anything else before I wrap this up?
No.
I didn't know if there's anything in the comments or anything that you need to.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of fun things happening over there. Trinity, I think you definitely win the award for like the most love received in the comments. No offense to the rest of the backpack leaders, but Trinity ran away with it today. Yeah, so thank you guys to everybody out there in the comments.
And I just want to kind of end here with we'll be off next week because it's spring break. We'll come back the following Monday. And really, my hope for you guys, not just backpack leaders, but across the district, is that you're able to take spring break and not have to be in front of a screen to do Google Meets and really just take some time to relax and refresh yourself because it's really important during this time. And thank you guys across the district for joining us. In the mornings and having this time together. It's really special, and I think we'll remember it. And we have a dog now that Brooke has picked up in her lap. That's a great way to end.
I know. Well, Jesse Morgan made a comment that the dog hadn't made an appearance yet in the community brew, and I tried really hard to get my daughter to join, but she just wouldn't even with me. So anyway, this is Leia, and we're just gonna sign off here on the Community Brew Live today's episode. She's a little confused by what direction she should be looking, but that's okay. So I hope you guys have a wonderful spring break. I will tell you that we have a tradition here in the Nelson County schools with gratitude and ending with gratitude when we sign off and close out a meeting. So since we are virtual, I'm going to drop the link right here in the comments for you guys to share gratitude. It's been a crazy 3 weeks, and it's important for us all to take a second and share gratitude with somebody that has made an impact on you specifically in the past 3 weeks. So take a second, head over to that link, and we will see you guys in a week.